Welcome, everyone, to Around the ACL. Michelle Thompson here with Trey Ryder and Anthony Ione, getting ready for our fourth and final national. So we've got brackets to talk about. We've got top 10 shots from the bag brawl, and then we've got some fun other segments to get into to prepare us for this last national. This will be part one. Part two will be in a few weeks, and then that will lead us all the way into Worlds and Spencer McKenzie's. August is the big month, and July is kind of that last push. But we are excited for it. Trey, you're probably taking off, in the next day or so?
Yeah, I leave tomorrow. So some of the team was gone today, but I'm headed out there tomorrow. So fly out early in the morning.
That'll be in Valley Forge. So we've been there before. I don't think it was during my season with the ACL.
No, I don't think so. We actually been there twice. We went there in 2019 and we went there in 2021. So history lesson for everybody. 2019 was the World Championships that year. It was actually the last year that the World Championships was held anywhere before it hit Rock Hill. So ever since after Valley Forge was the last person to host the Worlds besides Rock Hill. So that was the year Tanner Halbert won. That was the year of Emery Parker and Matt Sorrells in 2019. So that was a lot of fun. And then 2 years later, we went back for the final chase. So this is actually the second time that the final chase has been hosted at Valley Forge. And that one, if you remember, that was of course the year that Matt Guy and Jamie Graham first got together. So there was a battle all year long against Brett Guy and Eric Davis. Those are like the two best doubles teams. Matt Guy and Jamie Graham win that. And then, of course, Ryan Windsor ended up winning singles, beating his doubles partner, Isidro Herrera, in the finals.
All right, Meesh, that goes back to when I was a pro playing in the field as well. I just remember one of the big memories I have from there was Jason McCannon versus Gustafson, a big cash game. It was like, man, it must have been 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And, we're up in there's a casino, right? Yeah, the casino area.
Later than that, but yeah,
it might have been later.
In the casino, yeah.
But yeah, so some drinking turned to some shit talking, turned to let's go right now. We're going down. It was like down these stairs into the basement level or whatever.
Yeah.
Fired up a cash game. I think me and Bernie were like calling this match behind the board. We had the commish there. McCannon actually held his own. I think he lost the first one. Called for a second game, and he might have won that second game.
Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive. But yeah, that's like the vibe. It's one of those venues where like I don't think I'll see outside for like 4 days unless I intentionally go out for dinner, because like you're in your hotel room and then you take the elevator all the way down to the basement, and there's it's like all white walls, white floor. It's like it's one of the more unique venues that we're going to go to, but it's got casino in there. If you're a gambler, people will certainly have some fun.
Heck yeah.
All right. Sounds like a blast. Bummed I won't be there, but maybe another time. But we're going to start off with the Pro Shootout Singles Brackets. We're going to start out with Bracket A. So let me pull that up for you, and you can walk us through it, Trey.
Yeah, all right. So Shootout Singles be the first thing we do on the weekend. Anytime we talk about Bracket A, I always just got to say, look, we're looking at Jeremiah Ellis, right? Number one player in the world, and the question is, can he respond? We're going to do a segment later, Meesh, that's called Who Needs a Win? I thought about putting Jeremiah Ellis in here, but I thought that was way too aggressive and just way too borderline unreasonable to say that Jeremiah Ellis needs a win. But it's like, it's almost in the lens of, if you want to be the MVP, you don't have to win this tournament, but you have to respond in this tournament, because the guy right behind you, trailing you in Ryan Trader, just swept in singles the last event and has now made that gap in between the two of you very, very small. You can't come out here and lay an egg. You don't need to win the whole thing. You have a good lead in the MVP race, but you can't lay an egg. So looking through his section of the bracket, really not much that I'm seeing here is really going to get in his way, at least in this top left section, is what I think. Caden Allen from last year may have been able to really put up a fight with Jeremiah Ellis. Just still haven't seen it from Caden Allen this season. I saw a glimpse of it early in the bracket when we talked about in Minnesota when we had these pro brackets, but I just haven't seen it so far. But in that next section, this one is pretty tough, right? Anytime I put Jake Gore, Isidro Herrera, Jacob Trzynski all in one small section, it makes it very, very difficult. I think Jacob Trzynski is ready to make that jump to be the next great player. He's going to have to do it by once he gets past, maybe either Segura or Gilbert, he's probably going to have to beat Jake Gore, Isidro Herrera, followed by Jeremiah Ellis back-to-back to advance there in that top left section.
Anthony, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, just talking to the same bracket, you mentioned Caden Allen currently sitting at 16th, or he's that 16th seed coming in. To your point, I mean, I think we expected a lot more out of Caden Allen. It is the shootout format, so we kind of throw out a lot of our logic about rankings because we know the rankings are heavily weighted by the 2-21 format, and we've seen some of the teams and singles that have shown up in this format, so it really does open it up. I'll just kind of go to the bottom since you talked about those, but I feel like we're still on the left side, working to the bottom. I really got my eye on a guy like Nico Morellis, again, in the shootout format. This guy's been so close. Let's see, twice he's been one win away from TV. So we're talking about, in the championship match, he was the runner-up at Natty number 3 in that format. He was the runner-up in his bracket at the second shootout. So a guy like Nico Morellis just trying to break through to TV to show that he is a force to deal with on the single side. That bottom quadrant of the left side is pretty open, I think. And I think all 4 of these players are players that could be top 20 players. You got a Landon Crabtree that I think is doing really, really well. There's no one in that bottom 4 that's going to challenge from a top 10 perspective. I think these 4 guys are really looking to break out of this side of the bracket to say, hey, I am a force. You got Landon Crabtree, Brett Guy in the bottom there. Nick Williams has shown that he's a really, really good player. And Dalton McClem, I know it might be weird saying Dalton McClem, but this guy, he was in the losers final at the last national. So you're talking about a guy that took 3rd in his bracket. And then we just went through the states in Florida. He beat Ethan Walker and he beat Kyle Malone twice. So Dalton McClem is still the real deal. Just kind of jumping over to the right side of this same bracket. What would be good? The middle part, you have one area that's pretty congested. You've got Hunter Thorne that I think not having the season he wanted, ready to break out. Caleb Batson, 118th in singles, blows my mind. This guy, you talk about needs for a win. This guy's needing to do something. And Derek Holland, all 3 of those guys, I think are looking at each other going, one of us needs to break through this thing and make a run. And then you've got JBJ there in the bottom sitting at 10th. I think that left side is going to be JBJ's with an Ian Cripps going to challenge him there. But certainly Jeremiah Ellis in the top left is going to be the favorite in this bracket.
Yeah, I see I was going to say JBJ on this side is certainly a favorite here. He was another player for different reasons. I almost said needs a win, right? Just simply because I think he's slipping from that thought of he's one of the best players in the world. Everybody knows he's right there at the top and he's a top 10 player, but it's like some people, when they think about naming the best player in the world and name 2 after him, last year it would have been JBJ would have been in that initial conversation. He's not this year, so that's a big part of it. I'll say this much, though. I love this bracket for Chris Kingsbury. I like his stylistic matchup against Ellis on the left-hand side. He could get into this bracket final, and if he only has to get through maybe one JBJ, maybe an Ian Cripps, maybe somebody else, I really, really like this bracket for Chris Kingsbury.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. All right, let's look at B. This is going to be Ryan Trader's bracket.
All right, so for me, I'll cover the whole left side here. So Ryan Trader, he's obviously going to be the one that everybody's got their eye on. Then when I look at who's going to give him some obstacles, I don't really see it in this top left section. Maybe a red-hot, focused Jeff Reynolds can do that. He can run a lot of bags. You're going to hope that Ryan Trader isn't hitting his slide shots. But for me, this is Ryan Trader through this section. And then who does he meet in the next section? I think both Ryan Wiedenfeld and Steven Bernasek could possibly give Trader fits. I'm not saying that they will, but they have the skill level to do so. And, of course, I'd love to see a rematch of the Bernasset-Wiedenfeld matchup that we saw at the Open from this past event. They gave us a couple great games.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to watch, and we're probably going to see it again here in bracket B. Now, as you go down to the bottom half of the section, I think this is a good bounce back opportunity here for Adam Hissner. He wasn't as vocal and wasn't as prominent in the past pro event. I think this is an opportunity for him to right the ship here. I really like his little quadrant here, and when he even extended down to the bottom section, Justin Rule is someone that does have his ups and downs. Statistically, he's been really, really good, a high PPR, but Hissner is the type of guy that can match and counter that. In this section, I really like Hissner to maybe give Trader, or maybe somebody else that takes Trader down, fits in the top half section.
How about over to the right, Anthony?
Yeah, I'll just make one comment on the left. You got this guy, Quinn Reeves, sitting there in the left side in the shootout singles. We saw what he can do in the shootout format. How crazy would it be for this guy to do that in singles as well? That would be awesome. Yeah, so right side, Chris Roybal, the top seed in the right side. Props to this guy. The beginning of the season, we were all really kind of thrown back by his technique. It was really unorthodox. He has cleaned that up. He's throwing amazing bags. And when you talk to some of the other pros that have played with him in blind draw formats or teams events, they always have good things to say, or against him, always have good things to say about Roybal and how good of a player he is. So he's your top seed in the right side. Challenging him in the top half, you got a Kyle Malone that's his ranking will kind of blow your mind. I want to say he's 100 plus, which is really confusing to us. We've always looked at him as a top 20 threat. If we go back to the draft last season, we were all thinking he would, or 2 seasons ago, whenever that was, number 1 pick. It's really weird to me. He just doesn't have that level of success in singles that we see him have in doubles. Cody Henderson up there as well. Really, I kind of like Roybal as the favorite in that, just from a consistency standpoint. This guy has consistently finished deep in his bracket. He doesn't have that weird, 24th or 31st finish. Challenging him in the bottom. It is about time Matt Guy has broke through and protected his titles. We get on the broadcast, what are we at, like 5 times now, saying, Mark Richards is threatening Matt Guy's record. Jamie Graham is threatening Matt Guy's record. Trey Birchfield is threatening. It's time for Matt Guy to finally make it to a Final Four and protect it himself and add 1 to 20 where he can sit 21. He's in the bottom alongside Damon Dennis and Jimmy Humans. I really think that this is Matt Guy's time to come through. I think he's going to have to go through a Roybal, though. Maybe see Matt Guy in a championship match, but it's the shootout format, which makes me more scared. I like Matt Guy in a national format, not so much in shootout.
I'll say this much, one comment for me on that bracket. I think it's Matt Guy's to lose unless he runs into Ryan Trader. I think Ryan Trader is the perfect antidote to anything that Matt Guy does. Jumping over here into bracket C, Gavin Cano is our top seed. Again, one of those people that he was dominant, and in the last event, he kind of faded just a little bit. So Gavin Cano here is our top seed. I think he's going to be the favorite here. However, Noah Almanza just had a really successful Ohio State tournament. I really like what I'm seeing out of Almanza. Almanza could give Gavin Cano a little bit of fits, and as we look into this next section, Alec Ryan, a lot of up and down. Joe Niestedt, a lot of up and down. I really think it could come down to Almanza versus Cano for this entire top left section. As we go into the bottom half of the left side of the bracket, I think Jamie Graham is in a good position to keep on and continue to maybe chase Matt Guy in that title race. This is the tournament that he can win. When we look at this section, he's certainly going to be favored here. And when looking down who is going to meet him, probably a battle between Ryan Windsor and Sammy Soto, with maybe Tommy Sliker kind of being a little bit of a sleeper in there. But honestly, I think this is one of those times when Jamie Graham might just assert his dominance. He does it a few times a year. He was a little bit of quiet the last event. Might be time for him to pep back up here and try to see if he can give Gavin Cano or Noah Almanza in the top half section a run for their money. Yeah,
Anthony, over to the right.
Okay, right side. So your top seed over here in the right, Braden Wilson. This guy's been killing it in the shootout format. We saw him come out of the gate right away in the national format as well. Tough competitor. really, I like his side. There's not much in his way. There's definitely no one going to stop him in the top fourth. If you look at who he'd have to take down in the half, it's an Eric Zockline or a Gage Landis. Gage Landis, I think this format works really well for him. We've seen him show up in doubles. I love Braden Wilson through the top half. And if I look at who's going to even challenge him from the bottom side, you've got like a Fisher Hamilton or Alex Rawls. So I think he's going to be first battle tested for the king seat match. I think he's going to run through that pretty cleanly. Alex Rawls, needs a good finish. If we look at where the standings are, we're talking about a guy that had one really rough national finish. If he can have a good turnout at the next one, you're dropping that. We didn't see him perform the way that we expected him to on the last broadcast. It was kind of off. It just wasn't the Alex Rawls that we expect to see. But I love that Florida matchup for the bottom. Alex Rawls, Fisher Hamilton. That one's going to be a dogfight.
Absolutely. All right, now bracket D. Take it away, Trey.
All right, this is the Davis bracket. Eric Davis is our top one here. I think Eric Davis is one of the most difficult players to predict. In this section, if you look in the top left side of the bracket in general, I think it's kind of a crapshoot. I mean, I honestly think if I had to pick a favorite right now, I might go with Ethan Walker across this entire top left half of the bracket. Even against Eric Davis, I think he's been a little bit more consistent on the year. Eric Davis obviously has the top finishes that's giving him the bonus points to keep where he is. If I'm looking for someone else, maybe Evan Van Noss, maybe Matthew Troxel, Leston Allen can be streaky. But for the most part, this feels like an Ethan Walker side of the bracket with Eric Davis being either right behind him or, depending on you ask, maybe right in front of him as well. Onto the bottom side of this left side of the bracket, looking to maybe someone that's going to meet Ethan Walker or Eric Davis there. It's, Devin Harbaugh. Devin Harbaugh and Cheyenne Bubenheim down here, right? I mean, Devin Harbaugh, the most puzzling player in the entire league for me right now. No idea what to expect. I think on any given day, he's the best player in the world, and he can't finish. The problem is he does probably have to go through a Jack Gore who's throwing better recently. Cheyenne Bubenheim, can she have the same level of magic? I think it's going to be harder this time with her route, just with Harbaugh up there, and even a Walker or a Davis is going to give her a lot of fits on blocking the hole with shallow blocks, which could be a problem for Bubenheim. But I really think this should be Devin Harbaugh's entire side of the bracket. Is it? I don't know. What Harbaugh shows up, and can he finish?
Anthony, right side.
Trey Birchfield in the top. Nobody's going to be in his way in that top quadrant. He's got to like looking at that first couple round of matchups. Who's going to challenge him in the half? Hey, we've got Tanner Halbert back in the mix. What a turnout he had at the last broadcast, showing up twice. I know he wants another shot at that backside airmail. Maybe that's a little bit more motivating for him, but I like a Trey Birchfield versus Tanner Halbert. You got Mark Richards in the mix as well, but I can't make sense of where Mark Richards is going with his game right now. So it's really hard to, when you said about Eric Davis, he's hard to predict. I kind of would put Mark Richards in that category a little bit right now. I don't know what to expect for him. For a guy that we knew what to expect, he's just doing new things. He's a smart guy, so he's probably doing them for a reason. I just don't understand him. But in the bottom, man, I really like Ryan Hart in the bottom. Who's gonna challenge him? Frank Modlin in a shootout format. Jordan Power. Okay. Philip Lopez in the bottom. I think that whole bottom is Ryan Hart's all the way to the to get into the king seat match. And Trey Birchfield or Tanner Halbert again.
Austin Cameron doesn't scare you at all? Philip Lopez? No?
In singles, yeah. Philip Lopez in singles. No, they don't actually.
That's a hard pass on that one. All right, moving into national doubles.
No disrespect.
No, national doubles bracket A, Trey.
All right, so I'll cover the whole left side again. You can see it here on the screen. Derek Holland and Alex Rawls are a really good team, and I think they're a missed, nervous slide shot from Derek Holland away from having just won an event, but they are our number one team in the world right now, and as such, they're going to have the easiest quadrant, and that's probably what I see. Smith and Voyer can sometimes put together a scary little run that can run into people. Same thing with Labrador and Williams, but I think this is a top half that they can and should win. Now, in the bottom left section, it's a little bit more up in the air. I think Hamilton and Kano would normally be just write them down, they win this section, but we've seen some inconsistencies from this pair that we haven't really liked thus far. I think this is one of those teams that could really benefit from a strong performance in Shootout, right? So this is a big motivating tournament for them, last opportunity for the year. Bubenheim and Frazier can be a little bit scary, but that's a tough draw playing Alec Ryan and Nico Morellas, this newfound team. That is, I don't know what to expect there. Two very different bag selections, kind of up in the air. Don't know what to expect, but sometimes that works and lets them play in carefree.
Yeah, absolutely. Right side, Anthony.
Yeah, to explain my comment before a little bit, I was speaking from Ryan Hart's perspective. Do you think Ryan Hart is scared of Austin Cameron or Philip Lopez the way he's throwing bags right now? I just see him kind of running through that bracket. Right side. Actually, just a comment on the left side. I mean, someone out of Florida is going to come out of that left side. How heavy is that? Alex Rawls, Hamilton, Cheyenne, Rosie, Samantha, a lot of Florida. And then we got Kyle Malone and Devin Harbaugh over on the left side. That's going to be your top seed in there. Who can challenge him in the top? Ryan Windsor, Creek Killer. I think that there's a bag conflict going on there. Obviously, Creek Killer throwing a different bag in singles. Just talking to them a little bit and kind of knowing what's going on. That bag in doubles doesn't work very well for him. So I don't see that being a thing. And then you've got Jordan Canberra and Zockline and Cobb. Those are the next two. Malone and Harbaugh got to be looking at the top going, this is ours to mess up. And then in the bottom, the only team I see challenging a Malone and Harbaugh is going to be Adam Hisser and Trey Birchfield. It's crazy to me how well they did in the preseason in doubles, and then they come in just not having the same success. And just talking to them a little bit, there was a bag change, going to the dart. That seems to be working really well for both of them in singles. They said for whatever reason, when we switched to that bag in doubles, it's just not working out the same. But definitely they are due. They are due for some type of a doubles Final Four semifinal win championship match. These guys are that good.
Moving on to bracket B. So our number 2 team in the world, Jeremiah Ellis and Ryan Hart, they're looking to get back into it. And I don't think that their section is a foregone conclusion. We've seen Kaylee Hunter and Pat Sem win a bracket in shootout doubles. We see the potential of Jacob Gore and Hunter Thorne. So at least out of the gate, when we compare the 1 seeds in bracket A and B, it's a harder path for Ellis and Hart. Doesn't mean they can't do it. It just means it's a little bit more difficult. Then when you add in the bottom left-hand section, Corey Gilbert and Dean Norton, we know how much Anthony hates them and will not give them any credit for anything that they've ever done in their lives. They should be a shoo-in to lose immediately, according to Anthony. So I like Norton and Gilbert. I think they're nice people, unlike Anthony, but I just think overall I kind of kid. I think they can have a potential to go on a run here. But in addition to that, Matt and Brett Guy, again, we're waiting for Brett Guy to kind of put this all together and see that they can be a really good team. I will say that Brett Guy in one tournament in Minnesota looked really good and in one tournament looked really bad. So I have no idea what we're going to get. We'll see if they can go on a run. But this newfound team that they're going to have to go against out of the gate, Landon Crabtree and Ethan Walker, that could be a very scary team that is a really good shot-making team.
Absolutely. Anthony?
Yeah, Gilbert Norton, just to your comment there, the shootout actually works. That format works well for them. National doubles, though, not so much. I don't see that. I don't see that happening because you're talking about going to 21. I think that they're very strategic. When you watch them play the shootout format, they take timeouts at the right time. They communicate really well. I think they make shot selections together really well. I think that's why the shootout format works for them. But now we're talking nationals. If we look at the right side, man, Ryan Smith and Ryan Wiedenfield, the only team in their way is a Rawls and a Kingsbury. And I shouldn't just say any team because they're really, really good. But certainly I expect a little bit more out of them this season. I thought they could be a top 12, 13 team. So they're due. They are definitely due to make a run. They have the skill to do that. But going through a Smith and a Wiedenfield right now who are just playing so well. And everything I said about Gilbert and Norton, Smith and Wiedenfield have the same thing. working well as a team, taking timeouts. Ryan Smith has this ability to calm Ryan Wiedenfield's aggressive play and have him make good shot choices. And Wiedenfield is really successful in doubles because of that. In the bottom, we've got a Maudlin and a Graham. Again, it comes down to Maudlin. What Maudlin is going to show up. Jamie Graham's going to cover his half. If Maudlin brings his best stuff, those guys could take down the right side of this bracket. They don't really have much challenging them there in the bottom. I see Maudlin and Graham going all the way to the match to get to King Seat.
Wow. I was not going to say that. You were going to go with that. You have a lot to say about Maudlin and Graham usually.
Do you see someone better? You see someone better, Meesh? You want Chucky Love and Michael Allen?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm going to leave that alone.
Oh, that was genuinely funny. All right, bracket C. Davis and Sorrells. Hey, look, when we talk about a team that's good strategically for Shootout, they're made for this format, right? So I think that they should be favorites. The problem is, this is the first 1 seed that they have a loaded top quadrant. I mean, we're talking about Hicks and Trader. Skill-wise are right there with anybody. Waskow and Reeves, Grindersleeve and Batson. This is a loaded top left section. And yes, there's been some inconsistencies with some of these players, and they haven't played like they have played in the past, or there are other reasons that they've been inconsistent. Overall, it's a loaded top left section. And as we go on to the bottom left-hand section, we're talking about Vincent Frisch and Austin Cameron kind of still holding on to that near top seed based on the shootout format that they had success in earlier in the year. We'll see if they continue that here. But then Herrera and Jones, they win their shootout bracket. I think it's a winnable bottom left section again for Herrera Jones if they want to. But I think the winner of this side of the bracket is going to come from the top left side just by how stout it absolutely is.
Anthony, right side.
Yeah, I agree. That bottom left is actually open, wide open. We could see Frisch Cameron in that final. So right side, Justin Burton Jr., Logan Chamberlain. This is theirs to take down. I think that if you compare the left side to the right side, the left side is way more stacked than we have on the right side. In Burton Jr. and Logan Chamberlain's way to kind of take the top half, you've got teams that could do well, but again, it's a national format. They got to do well all the way to 21. Inglekin Baker, I could see them taking down a shootout bracket, not a national bracket. Caden Allen, Costanza, we've seen them do really, really well at some point in their career. Just doesn't seem to be coming together here this season. That is it. Otherwise, Burton Jr. and Chamberlain are running all the way through. In the bottom, in their way, though, this team, Jackson Gore and Sammy Soto. Hey, coming into the season, if you would have said, we hadn't seen them on a broadcast yet, I would say, nah, they're going to be there. So they're definitely due. This is the time. I mean, if I look at the rest of the bracket, those are your 2 teams, Burton Jr., Chamberlain, Gore, Soto. One of those teams will take it down. If we were looking for a dark horse, Scheibner Landis seemed to do really, really well this season, specifically in the shootout format. They're doing well in the national as well, though. Can they go through a Gore and a Soto or a Burton Chamberlain? I think that would be the big test. We keep talking about them. Are they one of the top teams? Scheibner Landis take down the left side of this bracket, and you're definitely on radar as one of the better teams in the league.
I agree. That was the team that was sticking out to me.
Yeah, finally in bracket D, we have Smith and Richards, the super team. They've obviously keep making it to broadcast. We'll see if they can continue that trend. This is one of those teams that may be the number 1 team once they get rid of that one bad finish. So in this instance, right, national doubles here is where they're going to get that drop finish, right? So if they perform well here, they could go all the way to the top. Looking for a team to get in front of them. We've seen ups and downs from Humans and Foster. We've seen ups and downs from Ramirez and Roybal. We've seen ups and downs from Soprano and Franklin. So could they run into somebody? Absolutely. Will they? I have absolutely no idea. And as we look down to the bottom section, Sims and Wilson, I wonder if you get a little bit of a hangover, right? I mean, Wilson's all over social media. This is amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like, you got to refocus when you have big success like that. And sometimes that's what's hard to do. It has nothing to do with their skill, just more so that it's sometimes you're riding the high of a really strong finish. The good news is I don't see a ton in their way. Honestly, the elite duo of Schaefer Ford and Brewer, who have come close to winning an Open, they could possibly take this down. Rule and Purser have also shown to be really consistent. So, going to be interesting left side.
Anthony, right side.
Yeah, this should be chalk. It should be Halbert Trzynski versus Bernasette Lopez to take down the right side. How many times have Bernasette Lopez been to the match to get to TV? Nationally, we haven't seen them as a doubles team. They are so good. And really Lopez needing to perform in that final match when it matters. He does really well leading up through the bracket, comes up a little bit short. We saw that against when they played Maudlin and Graham in that final. They had another one at the last one. So I think it's time for Bernasette Lopez to break through a bracket. This could be the time.
All right. Those are our brackets. Looking forward to watching all of that coming up this weekend. But first, we're going to get into last event, our top 10 shots. And the first one, I will admit, threw me for a little bit of a loop. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. I actually reached out to Damon Dennis and said, did I really just see that? Damon Dennis? Did Damon Dennis just do a rollback? What? I had no idea.
Rollback by Damon Dennis?
On purpose?
I think it was. That was a roll.
It wheeled a little bit. It wasn't pretty, Anthony, but it works.
That's all that matters if it works.
I reached out immediately. What did I just see? All right, next one's going to be Ryan Trader with the 2-bag drag.
Ain't that's a big thing.
One. That whole match again, him and Espen was absolutely insane.
Espen coming up.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Junior's too good.
8 is Ryan Wiedenfeld with his airmail drag. Peeled that one off. What do they call that? The banana peel? I think that's what Wally calls it.
Yeah, I like the peel. Like the peeling is like that's actually a good idea. It doesn't really drag it. It just
not over the hole. It's front.
I think I was using peel like 4 years ago, but banana peel that takes it to the next level. That's like that's a Wally. That's a Wally one for sure.
100%. 7 is Jacob Gore with a bar of soap. Boom.
I like how we're getting to the point now where like bar of soaps are just becoming like standard.
Normal.
Remember when they were just absolutely insane? And now
as soon as they're set up, you see the opponent go, here we go. I'm about to
exactly. You can see it. Yeah, it's like a groan from it's like how and ones used to be set up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now this one, number 6 is Gavin Cano and Corey wrote peel. So I don't know how this is different. Let's see. This one he wrote peel. Oh, because it's on top of the bag. Okay. So Gavin Cano's bag is on top of the other bag. So that's, I guess, a true peel.
According it's actually more impressive that he didn't take the other bag and he only took that bag instead.
Right.
It definitely is. All right, we got a Tubby Cobb. Tubby Cobb with a 2-bag drag clap. Make it clap.
Make it clap.
Boom.
Does anyone know the origin of make it clap?
Oh, the state of Michigan. I don't know who was it Alves, like Jim Alves and Neestet and Power and all them?
So it was mine. I dropped it at the USA Cornhole event. It was Michigan. It was one of the Ochoas who hit the shot, and I called make it clap. And then that one went viral. Yeah.
Anthony giving us all the names. All right, Sammy Soto for number 4. It's a peel, then collect. And then there it is. God, there you go.
Oh, okay. Just set it up, and then it's like the airmail that. Does it count as an airmail if you throw the airmail and it stays on the lip, but then you hit it later? Like, because it all counted and all went in, right?
Got it there eventually. She did a couple bags. All right, number 3, Ryan Trader with a peel, drag, and 1. Look over all these combos. A peel, a drag, and 1. Boom. How do you not have a reaction to that?
Dude, these are becoming so routine for these guys. It's where we were falling out of our chairs 2 years ago. Now we're just like, we've seen that.
Like, all right. Espen Jackson's bar of soap. I remember sitting here for this one. This was really good. Gets it off of the board completely, which, like I always say,
that kid
so
is
satisfying. So satisfying when you see that bag.
Get your bag out of here. And then we all know Stephen Bernasette had to stay alive. We didn't even see this shot. Bar of soap.
Oh yeah, number 1 for sure
in the game. And once again, no, like Ryan Wiedefeld's like, yeah, whatever, it happened. Like the non-reaction is always crazy to me.
And from a physical perspective, I think, Anthony, you're going to have to appreciate this. What people don't realize is you have to control your landing spot on that too. Because if you just throw a normal slide bag, when you make contact with that bag, you're just going to keep going with it, right? You have to use the ricochet effect of landing there and almost use it as a different lip and then go sideways and go. It's just absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane.
The spot he had to hit was small, and you're punching it out. And he's inside arm, which the bag typically wants to go a little bit left. So the fact that he was able to punch a left bag and find the hole in the right it's crazy.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to give you some names with their lines, and you tell me if you're taking or passing for pro singles first. I'm going to give you 5 of them, Trey. You tell me if you'll take them or pass on them. We got Jeremiah Ellis at plus 350, Jamie Graham at plus 1,200, Logan Chamberlain at plus 2,000, Ryan Hart at plus 3,000, and Tanner Halbert at plus 3,500. Any of those sticking out to you as an absolute take or an absolute pass?
Yeah, I do like Ellis, but that's just because of how good that I know he is, and I might take him at any line that's showing positive. Plus 350 is not bad. For me, I think there's some incredible value there in Ryan Hart at plus 3,000. We just looked at a bracket and I know that was Shootout, so these are technically pro singles ones, but they're going to be similar across both events. But for me, I like Ryan Hart's bracket in his path. So it might be someone that at plus 3,000 might be worth a couple bucks.
Anthony?
I don't like 350 period for anyone on any bet. Just because we know how deep the field is, it's tough to take 350. When you're looking at, and I'll throw it in there, a Logan Chamberlain at 2,000. I mean, this is a guy who I think he's ranked 3rd. He is definitely due. So if I can get 6x on my money and bet on a guy like Logan Chamberlain versus 3.5 to 1 on a Jeremiah Ellis, I think I would do that. The field's just so deep.
Okay. Sorry, my dog is having a very intense dream over to my right. Okay, Tony Smith, Mark Richards, plus 450. Alex Rawls, Derek Holland, plus 1,000. JBJ, Logan Chamberlain, plus 1,000. The guys at 3,500. Sorrells Davis, 2,200. And Hunt Sliker at plus 5,000. This is pro doubles.
I'm going to take your same logic, Anthony, and is going to say, are you convinced that Tony Smith and Mark Richards are 2 times more likely to win this event than Justin Burton Jr. and Logan Chamberlain? Because I'm not.
Exactly,
I mean, maybe if you want to pick them, it's one thing, but I think you're getting a lot more value out of Burton Jr. and Chamberlain than you would be going Smith and Richards. So in that regard, I like it. There might be some silly money to throw on Brett and Matt Guy, right? 3,500. Hey, I mean, they could win the event. 3,500 is a big number.
Absolutely. Anthony?
The only other one I do like Sorrells and Davis at 2,200. 22, that's $10. I mean, they've had a great season. I would throw $10-20 on that all day. I think that's a great bet.
Moving on to shootout singles. Alex Rawls plus 900, Eric Davis plus 1,200, Ryan Windsor plus 2,500, Ethan Walker 5,000, and Caden Allen 5,000.
If you told me right now Ethan Walker and Caden Allen are the same money,
right?
I mean, Ethan Walker deserves a lot more than that. So I do like Walker's line. I don't love that it is shootout. I don't think he's as suited for that personally. But I do like Davis at 1,200. We're talking about maybe one of the best round limited players ever getting 1,200. It's a good amount of money. I know it's a big field, but I think it is worth, Davis at that line.
Anthony?
Alex Rawls is so good at strategic play and putting bags better there than in. I expected him to be in every shootout singles Final Four all season. I'm surprised that he hasn't. So I would definitely put money on him at 900, and then the same logic on Eric Davis. I just don't know where Ryan Windsor's. He's got this weird rank. He's like 90 something in the league right now, but that doesn't always tell the story. It's shootout format. It gets a little weird. 25 to 1, I'd probably put a little money on him, but I'd go heavy on Alex Rawls.
And then shootout doubles, we got Hamilton Kano at 700, Grinder Steve Batson 2,000, Scheibner and Landis at 3,000, Morellis and Ryan at 6,000, and Kimbrell and Rozier at 7,500.
Yeah, so shootout doubles always gives us a weird number, right? So for that reason, and for the fact that Hamilton and Kano haven't been consistent, I almost don't like touching favorites in shootout doubles and trying to go for a wild card winner. In this case, at plus 6,000, do Morellas and Ryan have some kind of magic that we haven't seen? Kimbrell and Rozier at 7,500. I mean, they're a team that has the skill level to do it. So I'm probably leaning towards someone with that comes out of nowhere, a Kaylee Hunter and a Pat Sem. I can't imagine what their line was. They came and win a bracket last time, right? I think there's something to be said about going for those longer favorites. I mean, longer underdogs.
Yeah, I'd definitely go Hamilton Kano at 700. The one that's really jumping out to me, and I would go heavy on if I was able to coach this one a little bit, is the Morellis Ryan team. So yes, that I said that right. Nico Morellis and Alec Ryan. That might shock some people. And the coaching piece for me would be, I don't want to go arms on when you're picking sides, inside, outside arm. Let's throw that out of the mix. We have two players that play two different sides of the game, and they're very good at it. I would go matchups. I would put Alec Ryan against whatever player his nasty, dirty game is going to mess up the most, and put Nico with whatever his bag running game will be successful with the most. I think if they make that choice instead of going, I like inside arm, I like outside arm, I think that the odds of them winning goes up significantly. And if they did that, I would go heavy on 6,000 to 1.
Interesting. All right, moving on to who needs a win. I asked you guys to come up with some players or teams that need a strong finish in the final chase. It could be because they need it to stay a pro or to get to the top 10 or wherever you think it might be important. Who you got, Trey?
All right, I got 5 on my list. I got a mix of singles and doubles. First on my list, where he's as skinny as can be, but where is Fisher Hamilton? Okay, Fisher Hamilton, buddy. Okay, yeah. I know you've been hitting the gym. You look great. Okay, can we put some bags in the hole, my friend? Right? I mean, he's spending too much time in the weight room, not enough time on the boards. Okay. I don't know what to expect. We went from last season Hamilton being the clear leader of Hamilton and Kano was just kind of holding his own. Imagine how dominant of a team we could have had if we had last year's Fisher Hamilton with this year's Gavin Kano. We'd be talking about a team far and away number 1 in the world. Fisher Hamilton needs a signature performance in singles because we just haven't seen it yet this season. Number 2, Anthony talked about it earlier, but I think Mark Richards needs a win. I think he is someone that is being completely forgotten about right now. We were talking about him being clear far and away the all-time title leader at the end of this season, and he's still one behind Matt Guy. He has not made significant progress on that title race this season because he just hasn't been consistent. I think he is not throwing enough airmails. He's throwing too many rolls. Run your dang bags, Mark. I mean, just because the game, you can still be successful with a hybrid game. You just can't be a dirty style game. That's not your play style. Third, I'm going to let Anthony talk about this. Caleb Batson needs a win. Yeah. I know he's on Anthony's list, so I'm just going to shut up because I can't wait to hear how Anthony Ione's Player of the Year is ranked 118th. He needs a win more than anybody. Next one, 4, I have Hissner and Birchfield. Okay, we kept giving them excuses that, oh, it was this, it was this, it was this. This team won 3 opens together. Birchfield won a 4th. They should be winning, folks. What are they doing? Win a pro bracket. Just do it. Like, I'm tired of the excuses. Go win a bracket. I don't care. And then Trader and Hicks. Alex Hicks, Ryan Trader. Look, I'm looking at you, Ryan Trader. If you want to win MVP, I don't care what you do at this last event in singles, you and Alex Hicks have to at least be a part of the conversation in doubles. Trader and Hicks need a win badly in doubles in order to keep Ryan Trader in full reach of that MVP trophy.
All right, Anthony, who you got?
Mine will go pretty quick. Trey actually took a couple of my key points. That one was one I was going to mention. A win in doubles for Trader is so important for the MVP race and the Rookie of the Year race, just because he's up against. Need to wins. You covered most of them. I'm going to throw Matt Guy in there as well. Needs a win. Too many people keep threatening his title. It's time for Matt Guy. It's been 2 years since we've seen, maybe 2.5 years since we've seen Matt Guy come in and win a title. He is due. Ryan Windsor, he's 95th in singles. This is a guy who's been at the top of the game since he started. He needs a win. Kyle Malone is the last one I'm going to say needing a win. He's 105th in singles. That blows my mind. These are all guys that I think that are top 10 potential players who just need a win to show that they are still top 10 type players. My next category is going to be, I want it for them. Devin Harbaugh needs a win. I want it for him so bad, as well as Steven Bernasset. I'm going to put him in that category as well, and I'm going to throw him in doubles as well. Bernasset, Phillip, they've been close so many times. I want it for them at this point. Capable of winning, dark horses who need a win. Justin Rule. This guy's stats are off the charts. He's throwing the best he's ever thrown. He's currently sitting 20th in singles. I think he could actually win this thing. That would blow a lot of people away. Who's this Justin Rule guy? He's throwing unbelievable. Ryan Hart, same thing. Capable of winning it. Kind of a bit of a dark horse. And Chris Roybal. We're talking, he's sitting 9th, guys. He's sitting 9th. He has what it takes to win a national title. I always say you have to have the ability to navigate traffic, create traffic, and then score. You just can't set the table and not clean up. I think Chris has the ability to do. Alex Rawls. You guys hear me okay?
You're back now. You're good now.
Alex Rawls. This one was needs it for rankings. Alex Rawls.
Oh, he's gone now. Alex Rawls, you need a win, buddy.
You need a win.
Because
he's sitting 12th. I'll go real quick. He's sitting 12th. He needs to get rid of one tough loss. He took like 24th. If he wins the next one, he could jump all the way to 5th, guys.
And he's cut out again, so we'll just keep rolling then, Meesh.
I want to hear about Caleb Batson. No? Anthony?
Caleb Batson not on your list, Anthony?
He's got a girlfriend. He's not on my list. He was on my list. He was on my, you already said it. He was on my needs a win, top 10 potential. He's on there, but he's got a girlfriend. He's toast.
He's toast.
Moral of the story, Jim, girlfriend, problems for cornhole.
Yeah, bad for cornhole. Fisher Hamilton looks the best. He's the healthiest. Like his probably mental state is even better. Like he's just great. Just terrible for his cornhole game. Just.
All right, hot take time. Trey, you got a hot take?
I do. I really like the bracket layout. I mentioned it a couple times. Whether it's one of the two singles event, I don't know which one it was. Ellie's don't come for me. Chris Kingsbury wins his singles bracket. I really like his layout for his bracket. I think he can get a win.
Anthony?
Hopefully I get this in. I'm looking at bracket B. Justin Rule or Steven Bernasset win that bracket. That's pretty crazy. I want to say Wiedenfield, but it's Rule or Bernasset that I think win that bracket. And why is that crazy? They both run bags, which we know isn't always the most successful route. They're both in the left side of the bracket, so they're going to have to go through each other. And they're competing with Ryan Trader. You got Wiedenfield, Guy, Hissner, and Malone all in that bracket. One of those guys take it down.
I'm picking Ryan Hart to win his bracket. I think he's got a good chance. I like that bet at the 3,000. I think he can do it. And I think that he's got a lot of confidence playing with Jeremiah, and it's showing. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Enjoy all the cornhole coming up this weekend.